is Benny's second lesson with me, so he's off lead. I expect him to walk with me to the pens. And if anything was to come up here, I would just fix it. And so there he goes harassing some goats on the other side of the fence there, and he's about to get in trouble for that. So I put a little pressure on him. I want to see him kind of back off. He goes towards the goats, and I look at him, and he says, "Oh, I better not do that." So really, I just want the dog standing there paying attention to me. I did call him in there, and he backed up out of pressure a little bit. That's just a really tight space, so I will work on that with him in the future, going into pressure and pulling this sheep out. So right now I'm just going to bend over and call him to me and grab his collar and then help him go around. And when I get him to the back side of sheep, I'm going to ask him to down, and the word just kind of comes out of my mouth, but since I said it, I'm going to make it happen. So I say down, hey, hey, put the pressure on him and make him down. So I just keep on pressuring him until I get the down, and then I release the pressure and call him forward. So he is not supposed to go to sheep. So I called him here, but I've got to get my gate closed, so I'll fix it when I have a chance. So that's what I'm doing. I'm applying pressure to him, pushing him out. I got to get him really backed off and paying attention to what I'm asking. So he is not giving in to me. He's still looking for a way to get around me. So his ears are up. See, his play bowing at me. So I did toss that at his front feet and hit him with it, and it didn't deter him very much. He went to sheep, or he tried to. So here I am, kind of trying to get him to back off. This is painful for a lot of people to watch because it does go on for a little while. But you've got to understand that the dog has got to give in to the pressure, or else we're just setting this up for us to be arguing back and forth this entire time. So he does finally sit, but then I move away, I release the pressure, and he comes forward right again. So you know the dog hasn't given in just yet. So he's going to do it again. I'm not going to ask him to just stay, okay? I need the dog to actually give in to pressure. I don't need him just obeying basic obedience commands here. The whole concept of herding is pressure and release, and so if I'm not having that result, see, he needs to turn off of that paddle pressure. So boom, right there. And he says, "Oh, okay, maybe I understand what you're saying." See, the ears went back. He's not trying to work stock at that point. He's trying to get away from pressure, which is great. So then I go to my sheep and I start the lesson. Not a big deal. So now he's saying, "Oh, I'm not so sure I want to play your game." So I kind of push on my sheep for a little bit, and if he says he doesn't want to come in, that's okay. We'll just work on going away from pressure. So I'm just going to walk the perimeter of the pen, see when he gives to my pressure, I release it, and then he comes forward again, so I apply pressure. I'm looking for that head turn. I'm looking for him to move away from me. And at this point, I wouldn't care if he split the sheep or did anything. I just want him to go. And see, he's not so deterred that he didn't just run into my paddle on his own. So he's not deterred from working. He's just trying to figure out what this conversation is that we're having here. So I'm going to let him kind of mess around for a minute. Just kind of tell him, I do want you to still work, but I do also want you to give to my pressure. So pushing him out just a little bit. When I get that head turn, I'm going to let him go. See, I remove the pressure, I let him go, and that's just lovely. And yes, he cuts in, but I'm just going to apply pressure again. Pressure, release the pressure, let him work. Turn directions. Always want to try to go both directions. He's not turning his head off in this direction, so I'm going to say that that's probably his worst side.
Good boy.
You'll notice it pretty quickly if the dog gives and goes really wide on one direction but not the other. So I want him to turn away from me, which is the the hey. I told you guys before that my communication, what I use is when I hey the dog or give the correction, I want them to stop and look to me for more direction. So that's what I did there. No commands here or anything. I really just want him responding to me and letting him work the stock when he's being appropriate, and then kind of seeing what kind of issues are going to pop up and fixing them as we go along. So I'm already starting on his flanks. I really want to see him give to that pressure. when I see something happen more than once. So there's the hay again. So I need him to stop. There, now I can redirect him. So once I give that hay, I want the dog to stop. I release the pressure, and then I can redirect them to what I want them to do. And at this point, with this dog, there's no commands, so it's all body language.
Good boy.
But when he hears that hay, he doesn't need to dart back and forth. He doesn't need to be looking for something else to do. He doesn't need to be trying to fix it on his own. He needs to stop and look to me. So here I'm just trying to let him balance the sheep, hold him to me. He's got a nice feel for him because he's stopping on his own out there
Good boy.
instead of coming in and crowding on the sheep. So just seeing that and then knowing that he had a hard time going into that tight pressure of that pin, I will be working the small pin with him on the next lesson. So it's all about communication. Just get your communication right with the dog. Have them understand the process that you're using to teach them, and then you can let them work. See how he stops on balance like that? He's a little bit short. He's not catching the eye on the outside. So I'm going to use the fence here to fix that. Some of it is, I think that's the bad direction. He's not quite turning that head whenever I apply pressure to him, and he's darting in. So we're going to get on the fence line, get it all stopped, and that's the end of the lesson.